In 2013, the Robotic Boogaloo update was released to TF2. It was the first entirely community-created update that added cosmetics, action items, and unusual effects. The cosmetics were specifically robo versions of already existing heads, like the ghastly gibbous, hot dogger, and the towering pillar of heads. A lot of the player base were pretty disappointed since the update basically only included cosmetics with no new updates to the actual MvM game mode. But behind the scenes there were actually plans to also release an MvM mission alongside the update, which was also community created, but sadly it didn't make the cut due to Valve only wanting to focus on cosmetics. And also due to some miscommunications, the makers of the mission ended up finishing the mission without finding out they weren't considering non-cosmetic content until much later. The mission creators wanted to experiment with new bot ideas and gimmicks that weren't done yet, and since that was in the early days of CustomMvM, remember this was back in 2013, they had a lot of ideas to choose from. They were also thinking about moving said mission to a community-made MvM map, however at the time there weren't any that were close enough to be finished, so they stuck with a Valve-made map, which was Manworks. Speaking of Manworks, in the comic that released alongside the Robotic Boogaloo update, on one of the pages when the robots are attacking the mercenaries, you can see that they're on the Manworks map. That is, as you could probably tell, because the mission also plays on Manworks. Let's get into the actual mission now. The mission name is fittingly called Robotic Boogaloo. It starts you out with 400 credits, there are 7 waves in total, and the mission even uses custom icons for some of the robots. The difficulty of the mission is unknown. It would have been decided on after they got confirmation that the mission would get added to the game, but since that did not happen, it does not have an official difficulty. The first wave starts out with a giant pyro with sun on a stick scouts. Both the pyro and scouts have fire particles on their weapons for some reason, and if you were curious, getting hit by the scouts don't make you take any fire damage. After a few seconds, a big group of crit shot pyros spawn. A tank also spawns at the end of the wave, but that's basically the entirety of the first wave. Oh, and the giant pyro at the beginning also shows up as a support robot during the wave. They were going for a fire combo, meaning the giant pyros and the shot pyros can set you on fire, giving the scouts free crits if they happen to hit you. But did you notice anything? Some of the robots were wearing cosmetics, like the shot pyros and the giant pyro. That's actually a very big feature of the mission. The mission makers were intending to showcase the robo cosmetics that were made for the Robotic Boogaloo update in this mission. However, since said mission was made before the update, they all use the normal versions. The shot pyro is using the last breath instead of the robo version, the Rusty Reaper, and the giant pyro is using the flamboyant flamenco instead of the... wait. There is no robo version of the flamboyant flamenco, which brings me to my next point. There are several robots in this mission which use cosmetics that have no robo counterpart, at least not in game. Let's use the flamboyant flamenco for example. The Robotic Boogaloo team actually did make a robo version of it, which you can see here. However, that is one of many heads that Valve didn't take into the game, for reasons I don't know myself. However, it's pretty cool to see these robo cosmetics that didn't get added, and there are a lot more of them in this mission. And that's not all. Some robots in this mission actually have a special name assigned to them. In the first wave, the only robot with a special name is the shot pyros. They're named Fireball. There will be many more robots with unique names in this mission. Let's look at all of the robots and their attributes that appear on wave 1 of this mission. The second wave begins with pyros as well as crit boosted eviction notice heavies, followed up by shotgun heavies, pretty boys pocket pistol, and shortstop scout. The ending of the mission is a bit weird as the wave doesn't end when you destroy all main robots. You have to destroy the support robots as well to finish the wave, and that takes a bit of time since they keep on respawning. It definitely took a couple minutes before it was done. Here are all of the wave 2 robots. The third wave starts out pretty interesting. It plays the Groot Keep music when the gate opens on that map. After that, all robot types spawn in, which consists of a giant bottle knight, grenade launcher demos, demo knights, huntsman snipers, and crossbow medics. This wave is not like the first two. This one is way more fun and chaotic. They can easily overrun you if you're not prepared. Here are all of the wave 3 robots. The fourth wave has Nessie 9 Iron Demo Knights and Fist Heavies alongside Quick Fix Medics which are healing the heavies. At the end there are 2 giant Bong Skulls with the Sandman and a single tank. Here are all of the wave 4 robots. The fifth wave is pretty interesting. It features all 3 types of vaccinated medics. It starts out with a giant brass beast heavy with 3 vaccinated medics. They all have their own resist type active, but destroying the medics is pretty easy. After that, a lot of crit boosted Bat Scouts and Backburned Pyros spawn in, with support vaccinated medics healing them. Here are all of the wave 5 robots. The sixth wave is in my opinion the most boring one. It starts out with Claymore Demo Knights, followed up by the Reaser Pyros that love to reflect all of the projectiles you throw at it. After you just mindlessly kill some of them, a giant rapid fire soldier spawns in. You repeat that for a couple minutes and that's the entire wave. Here are all of the wave 6 robots. The seventh and last wave of the mission features a lot of different robots. It starts off with crit boosted Caber Knights as well as escape plan soldiers. And let's just say the escape plan soldiers are very interesting. After that, groups of detonated pyros and Fist of Steel heavies spawn in from each side. Defeating them spawns in shotgun pyros and Persian Persuader Demo Knights from each side once again. And in turn, killing those robots will spawn flamethrower and even more detonated pyros from each side. I think you can tell the pattern of this wave now, right? Here's something weird though. After that, they spawn in heavies as well as beggar bazooka soldiers. The issue with the soldiers is that they just don't shoot at all. That's not all though. If you destroy the heavies and soldiers, 20 Flock Pyros spawn, and they even spawn with their meter full, but they don't use it at all, which means giving them the Flock was entirely useless. After you get rid of the Pyros, the grand finale begins. The final boss is a giant Hulong heater heavy that is being healed by a giant quick fix medic. And that's not all. The support robots in this section contain all robots from past waves. That also includes giant robots. After defeating both the giant medic and the giant heavy, the mission ends and you complete the Robotic Boogaloo mission. But be aware that the game sometimes likes to crash whenever you get to this part.
Holy shit, it's a
My game crashed.
What a good mission.
What a great mission.
Here are all of the Wave 7 robots. Regarding the final heavy boss of this mission, look at its head. And now look at the comic page I showed you in the beginning. Yeah, that's him. That's the Hulong heater boss they're referencing. And with that out of the way, the Electric Boogaloo mission wasn't really anything special in today's time. It might have been unique back in 2013, but with the amount of custom MvM content these days, it just seemed lackluster. It had interesting ideas like giving the robots cosmetics that were going to be the robo versions of them, as well as giving the robots unique names that correlate with the cosmetics they're wearing. There were a lot of broken or buggy things in this mission. The biggest one is that your game just kinda dies on you at the end of the final wave.
What a great mission.
Another part that sucks is that there are no engineer bots in this mission. Engie bots were added in the mecha update in December of 2012, so the opportunity to add them was there. Without any engineer bots, they could not have shown off the robo versions of the engineer cosmetics. However, all in all, this mission is definitely a nice part of the MvM and Robotic Boogaloo history, and I would like to thank the mission makers for making it. It was a nice experience.